Okay, question 14 is about a cumulative frequency curve, and this is a very common question within the paper, so pay close attention to this. The grouped frequency table shows information about the weekly wages of 80 factory workers. So we can see that 8 people had a weekly wage of a little bit more than 100, but less than or equal to 200, and so on. 17 workers were between 400 and 500 pounds. We're asked to complete the cumulative frequency table. So the first term of the cumulative frequency table is always the same as the first term from here. So there will be 8 people between 100 and 200. Well, what about the number of people up to 300 pounds? I'm going to add 15 onto 8. So I'm going to just keep adding on. 8 plus 15 is 23. 23 plus 30 is going to give me 53. 53 and 17 is 70. 70 and 7 is 77. And then 77 and 3 is 80. And you can check that you're right. It said that there was 80 factory workers, which means my final number should be 80, and lo and behold it is. Okay, on the grid opposite, draw a cumulative frequency graph for your table. Now, when we draw a cumulative frequency graph, it's important to remember that we use the upper bound. We always use the upper bound and the against the cumulative frequency. So I'm going to do 200 versus 8. So 208, which will be here, 208. Then we're going to do 323. 300 and up as far as 21, 22, 23, right there. 453, 400 and that's 451, 52, 53. 570, 500 against 70, which is here. I think it was 677, yeah. So 600 is here, and 77, which will be here, and then finally 800 or sorry, 780 people. So 780 people. So I need to draw the curve or the graph. You can draw it freehand, like an elongated S, or you can use a ruler. I prefer to use the ruler. So I'm going to draw it. Oh, and I need to be careful there. I almost made a big mistake. The lowest bound is 100. So I'm going to start, my graph must start from 100. So don't start from 0. Start from the lowest bound, which is 100, and then go connecting up the dots using a straight line. As I said, you can do it using an elongated S, drawing freehand, but I like to use the ruler. Okie doke. Lovely stuff. So, now I need to use the graph to find an estimate for the interquartile range. So I'm going to need the upper quartile and the lower quartile. Well, if I've got 80 people, that means the median person, the middle person, would be at 40. So let's change the color actually of the line. Let's go to a yellow. So, no, yellow's no good. Green. Okay, so this would be our median. The median would be found here. We don't need to use that. The median. The upper quartile is going to be halfway between the median and the top. So what's halfway between 40 and 80? 60. So this is our upper quartile here. So you read across from the line and then down. And then the lower quartile will be here at 20, halfway between 0 and 40. So halfway between the lowest and the median. So that's our lower quartile, and this is our upper quartile. Now remember, we're reading across and down. So the upper quartile, let's see, that would be 450, that would be 440, so that's about 445, I say. 445. So 445, and it's the upper quartile. Take away the lower quartile. The lower quartile I make out to be 350, 60, 70, 380. Sorry, not 380, 280. 280, yeah. 280. So let's see, that would be 165. 165. I just want to double check that for a second. 280 and 100 would be 380 and add 65. Yeah, 445. Okay, and then finally, use your graph to find an estimate for the number of workers with a weekly wage of more than £530. So more than £530. So what we need to do is go to £530. Let's use a different color for this line. Let's go red. So £530, which would be here. So you read up, and it hits the graph here and across. Now that means there would be 72 people who were up to 530. We're up to 530, but we want more than 530, which is the difference between the total amount of people and this value here, which is 72. So there's about 8 people, who were more than 530. So 8 people. Okay,